Everybody, good evening. It's Doom here from Dungeons and Doom Biscuit, and this is the 3.5 Monster Manual, and we are on the Sphinx. The reference art is the female Gynosphinx. I think it's called a Gynosphinx. Female humanoid, but we're going to make the, because I don't want to add the those things or any of that kind of stuff to mine. I'm going to use mine to make the Androsphinx, which is the more typical Sphinx you see that just has it's like a lion body with a human head, and that's what I want to do with mine. Plus, it's a lot easier to make good-looking male stuff than female stuff because females are graceful and beautiful and we're clunky and dumb. So I'm going to start by whipping this guy's head off the best I can, and I'm going to look at some of my head options and see what's going to fit the best. It looks like this guy might be a prime candidate for the best fitting face. Okay, we're going to need to cut off a little bit more of this face where I messed up. I actually cut that guy's head off kind of uneven too, unfortunately, which is not going to look ideal. We don't want that eyeball in there. Can I use that guy's face maybe since I screwed that dude's face up? Let's see if we can get this guy's face off. We'll use snippers and get a more precise cut than me trying to. Okay. Something like that. Let's just get a little bit of glue to kind of hold that in place. I'm going to intentionally make it a little crooked, as if he's tilting his head to look like the lion's head's a little bit tilted. And then I'm going to come around here softly with a small line of glue. Hold on, my tip of my glue thing's all gross. Okay. I'm going to get a thin bead of glue all the way around where the head connects and hope to be able to fill it in with just only using that and not having to do a bunch of hot glue work. And then we'll just dip this directly into the baking soda. No, we better not dip it because I'll regret that later. So we'll just get a little scoop and sprinkle it around. It looks like we got a pretty good connection here. Okay. I wish I had a bigger head we could have used. I just don't really have anything. So we want to make sure that this takes paint well. So there's a couple different ways we can fix it up. One is to hit it with the fire, and that seems to be pretty useful. Another thing you can do is you can get like a wire brush and kind of dig in with that and rough up that plastic some. And then the other thing you could do is you can hit it with clear coat. Well, there's a little seam on his back, and I don't think I'm going to be able to remove it with a little bit of effort. I think it's going to take more than I want to put in. Yeah, so we're going to leave that seam. I don't care about that much. Now we need wings. And I did pull out some eagle wings here, or some angel wings that we can use from my Five Below Fairy Pack. And I think these will make good wings for our dude here. Okay. All right, so those aren't fitting real nice. So what I'm going to do I'm going to see if I have another set of those real quick. Worst case scenario, I know I have another bird somewhere too. If these aren't going to work, I have another bird I can chop up, but I'd rather just use these wings. Those are too doofy. Here we go. Where's the ones I didn't like the way I cut? There we go. Okay. So we'll just cut these with a little, taking a little bit less off, so they have a good connecting point. All right. With that little bit more left on there, we should get a better connection. There we go. It's not perfect, but it's better. So we're just going to get a tiny dibby dab of glue, and I mean the tiniest, just to get this in place while we're working, really, and no other reason. We're going to come up underneath. Some glue. Make sure you get some good contact area on the body and on the wings. And flip them over. Dusting the white stuff. Okay. And then we need to do a little bit on the top. We don't want to go overboard here. So we can just get a bit and sprinkle it with our fingers instead of getting a big coat. Okay. His wings should be sturdy. His face should be sturdy. Let's get him on the base. All right, so all I've done is prepped a base. I sanded it with a wire brush, cut some grooves in it with a knife, put some super glue and some baking soda on it. That's all I've done there. Let me get my minor burning hand spell out real quick and get rid of that fuzz. There we go. Perfect. Good fuzz is all gone. And let's get this guy on the base. And to do that, we're just going to get some dabs of glue on each foot. And set him on there nice and flush and straight. And I'm just going to flip them the other way, sprinkle some on these sides of the feetses. So it's catching some of that super glue. That's all I'm trying to catch. All right, so there's our Androsphinx. He's going to be all right. Now, we're only 8 minutes in, so I could come back in a part 2, but I think the best thing to do is just to do a haphazard spray and hope the paint dries fast enough that we can make it work. It's pretty cold in here, so I don't know how well my paint is going to go. Plus, I don't even have any air on, so. All right. Now, I don't like the sticky of spray paint on my fingers. It bothers me. So I'm just going to put this on here like that and then smoosh it around so that as that's fully dried, I don't have to touch the sticky. Now I'm going to get a soft, crappy brush and my brown paint. and an old plastic thing here that's dry. I'm going to get a little bit of paint. And my brush is going to get damp in the water. And we'll paint this whole thing brown. Now, in the reference art, I think her wings were white. I'd like to do something besides that. I've been doing a lot of brown and white stuff. So I think I'm going to do mine a little different, but I'm not sure yet what my plan is exactly. You know, I don't really walk into this stuff with a big plan. I just kind of say, F it, let's make something. That's been my my kind of mode since we started this. One of my early viewers, one of the very few comments I got said was they liked that I was just like, hey, F it, let's make something. And that's just been kind of my approach anyways, but even more so since they said that, I'm like, well, somebody kind of gets it. They get it. They're into it. As the Monster Manuals got on, I think I've gotten too big for my britches and tried to do a better and better job. And I'm taking it way too serious compared to what I set out to do. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I think the flight span or the wingspan of these things is actually supposed to be like 20 foot, but so that'd be like 4 inches. So if those open up, just assume it's 4 inches. It's not, but I don't know because I didn't measure it, but it's probably not. So I'm just going to get a medium brown, and I'm going to give him a light dusting with that. And this is just going to break him up a little bit and give him some variation. That's all that's doing. Oh, this is terrible. All right, we're going to dry him off again. We got to watch because that's going to pop that glue loose. If it gets too hot, it'll cook the glue that's holding him to this base and it'll pull it apart. We don't want that. At least I don't think we do. Yeah, it's already kind of coming off. So let's get another dab of glue. Get him on there sturdy. Okay. Let that cool for a moment. Let's get a lighter brown. So I want something with a reddish to it, so I'm going to use this chestnut. And I'm going to get a kind of a bigger makeup brush for this part. Something like this. And I'm going to get some of that on there. And I'm going to get it so it coats the brush pretty evenly. So okay. And I'm going to significantly lighten him up with the first coat. And with this big soft brush, I'm getting in some of the deeper spots, but not all of them. And it's already creating a pretty serious contrast there. Okay. Okay, and then I want to do that again. And this time I'm going to use a khaki, and I'm not cleaning my brush out either. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my khaki over here. Come on, khaki. Oh, way more than I wanted. And then I'm going to hit him again. Okay, now I'm done with that brush for now. So I'm going to get my dark brown out again. I have some here in this that's wet already, so it'll be perfect. And I'm going to get a medium brush. This is a size 3 medium brush. I'm going to get some of that paint, and I'm going to come back and hit his mane with that. Be careful not to hit those ears sticking out of the mane. You want those to be the lighter color. Oh, I hit one. Damn me. Oh, of course I hit the ear. That's being Russian. Number one good time, eh? Rushing. Then I'm going to hit the beard. And where the face meets the lion head. Okay. I want to come back and do something about that. The ear that I messed up. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to do the tip of his tail. Okay. And I'm going to do the wings in this darker brown again one more time. But I'm going to water this down a good bit before I do that. Oh. And if you mess up, it's got to be a symmetrical mess up too. So you got to fix. If you mess up one side, you got to mess up the other too. Unless you think you can fix them evenly. You might be much better than I am, and you can handle that kind of a delicate effort. I can't, so I got to mess up both sides equally. Okay, now we're going to hit him with the air gun on low. We're going to get another fatter brush, like a thicker dry brush. This isn't the one I was looking for, but it'll have to work because I don't know where my one I want is. Wait, I found it. All right. So you're going to get a little bit of this golden sunset or whatever kind of like darker orange or darker yellow you have. You're going to grab a little bit of that. A little bit of that. And you want to take almost all this away. There's a spot where he's still pretty wet right there. And you want to catch this real lightly. You don't want to do an over job with this. You want to do it light. You don't want to get too much of it and ruin the color we have here. Something like that. Okay. All right. All right. I'm pretty happy for the most part. There's some little things we need to do. I'm going to get a peach color and a very small brush with no wet in it. And I'm going to wipe most of that off. And I'm going to drag that on his facial features to lighten those up a little bit. Okay. I'm going to hit his ears with that too. It makes this look a little peach. Something like that. I'm not spending an enormous amount of time on this. I'm going to drop that brush. I'm going to get this brush here, and I'm going to get that watered down brown. I'm going to add a little more water to it, and I'm going to come back. And it's going to be real wet now. Okay. And I'm going to just get in here and darken up that mane over the yellow a little bit. And you don't have to do that everywhere, but you want to get it at least enough that they can tell what you're trying to do. That you're trying to show that his mane is darker than the rest of his body is what you're going for here. So take your time. Hit his hair and his beard and his mane. And you don't have, like I said, you don't have to hit every single spot, but you want to make an effort that that's darker, and then you want to come back and hit his tail with that just on the tip. Now what I want to do with my wings, let me get, hold on, there's a spot I wanted to get here that I didn't get well. Right there. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to get a small brush, a fractional brush. I'm going to get a vibrant blue color and a white color. And I always use an off-white on the eyes. I don't often ever use a real white. That's a personal preference, though. You do what you want to do. I personally think the off-white looks better. So, with a damp brush, let's see here. Touch his eye. Now you really want to make sure the tip of your brush is super damp for this next part. And usually you'd want to hit these with an air gun too before. So mine's looking to his left a little bit. And I'm not going to put an iris because it's so small. I don't think it would make a big enough difference. And I don't think it would look great. So I'm going to do one more thing while I had this small brush out. I'm going to get some of this brown here, and I'm going to darken up his mustache a little bit. I didn't want to get that all over his nose when I was working on it. So, okay, I'm going to do the front of his hair a little bit with that. Just kind of darken that up some more. Okay. Oh, I just put my fractional brush in the water again. Great. That's how you ruin beautiful things, by not taking care of them. All right. I don't know where the brush I had out earlier is. I was using my favorite paintbrush and I can't find it. All right, so this is one of those things right here, okay? I want the tips of my wings to be white. So what I'm going to do is get that off-white all in my brush. And I'm going to wipe a lot of that out. I'm going to drag it across the tips of these wings, these feathers. And I'm not going for perfection here, okay? I'm trying to lighten them up a little bit. something like that can work. And then you have these little feathers in here, and I don't want all these to be like that because I don't want to have to like sit there and do it perfectly. So I'm just going to kind of brush around on the tips of some, and I know I can easily catch. Do the same kind of deal. Okay. All right, so now I'm going to get a true white. I'm going to do the same thing just over those again, and I'm going to grab a little bit smaller of a brush. I know we don't want to dirty a whole bunch of brushes, but we want to do a nice job, we don't want to do a crappy job. So okay. Let's get the size 3 out. Let's paint his base brown. And we can add a little flock on there. You don't have to do a perfect job on this base, by the way, since it's already a couple different shades of brown from the different dry brushes. Unless you got just an enormous amount of yellow on it, you can guys kind of like trip around on here and hit where you want to hit. And then I'm going to go around the outside on mine. Make it all that darker brown. Probably would look better with black, but I don't really want to get into all that right now. Okay. Sweet. So let's get that hot air gun and dry this off. Now, if you look, there's some things I do and some things I don't like. Like there's some seams here that if I wasn't in a hurry, I could have scraped those off and sanded those off. There was that one on his back. I left it there. It's not as noticeable now, but you can look right there. You can see it. So, I mean, there's some imperfections. His head's a little crookeder than I wanted it to be. I just wanted it to be kind of like cocked to one side a little bit, and that's very much so. I also ended up not liking the ears being there. I could have carved those out. There's a lot of things we could have done differently, but we didn't, and that's okay. This is not a $15 Sphinx from WizKids. This is, it's not a $10 print you paid for it. I had to print at home. This is something you made with scrap pieces or Dollar Tree stuff. That's yours, and you can, tell whatever story you want as to why it looks how it looks, or do whatever you want to do. Don't let everybody else dictate. I have some smarty pantses that criticize some of my work, and I don't blame them for all of it. Let's be honest. Some of my stuff's pretty terrible. My Akiera is still to this day the just most hideous craft I've ever done. We don't even call it the Akiera in my house. We call it the Skibbity Bird. I think my dogs are fighting. That's all right. Mrs. Doom will take care of them. She'll say, "Hey, don't you do that." All right, so there's our Androsphinx. Not the worst, not the best. Definitely can tell what it's supposed to be, though. So anyways, I'd like to thank you guys for taking the time to hang out with me today. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell icon. Share it with a friend. There's some other stuff. I can't think of it all. But check out the website and the Discord. Right now we have a Black Friday sale going on. It's awesome. You get $4 off the monthly box, and then you can still get the 25% biscuits code off of it on top of that. So it's like, you're getting a box of miniatures sent to your house for swill. This is, what's in here? This is an ogre. Let me see if I got one. No. Here we go. Here's one I took the plastic out of. This is the November box. And it's a box of demons and hands that go with them and bases and stuff. And it's just a lot of fun. You can really do kind of switch the hands around and stuff like you're playing with Legos. So it's super fun. Check them out. Take advantage of the amazing discount. And come to our Discord and show us what you're working on. Also, if you go on Discord, you can get a code for a free miniature. And that includes shipping, sent directly to your house. The only thing we ask is that when you put it together and paint it, that you show us a picture of it. And I think that's pretty fair trade. It comes out of our pocket, the shipping and everything, and you just have to show us your paint. So thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on Dungeons and Doom Biscuit.